Hello, this is National Chess Master Rats to continue my video series at chess.com on the correspondence team match between my video lessons group and CARPE DIEM. This was played on board 85 of a 210 board match, and our man is aakjohns and rating high 1700s versus mid 1600s thereabouts. And it's a pretty interesting game here. Black comes up with quite a little surprising move. And this follows opening theory. Now, I learned way back in 1972 this may not be the best line for white. I didn't have much to go on. I was using a book called The Complete Chess Player by Fred Reinfeldt, and he gave a sample of every main line of every opening, and the illustrative game that went along with it. Black ended up doing breaking the pawn center. I think white took in both cases this way, and black just ended. Whoops, this goes this way. Black just ended with these four center pawns that just ran up the board, and poor white got crushed. That doesn't mean it was the best line that white couldn't improve on, but I've always, just because of that early prejudice, I've always felt that black does okay out of this line. And it did follow book for a while, but I'm not sure exactly where it ends, and we'll see here in a moment. Now it's following some of the strategies that I mentioned. You know, some of them. Black is trying to break the center, but white isn't cooperating and taking on f6. Both sides are developing, and this is kind of odd, but I think it's still a book. There are actually some positions reaching this when I went on the database, and black castles, and we're about to get a surprise move. This just totally took me by surprise, like I say. It's not a move I probably would have even considered, but now that I've seen it, I understand what he's trying to do. Now here's a question, because I don't have the answer. Is this move that black plays, is it book? It very well could be. I don't know. But if it is, then we have to give black credit for playing correspondence chess correctly. He's doing his research. He's uncovered an idea that has been used or suggested. I don't know, so maybe somebody said, interesting as this, but nobody's ever tried it. Well, I've done that before with some of the lines I was playing correspondence chess back in the 80s. The author would say, this move looks interesting, this is the idea, and I'd go try it and go win with it, and hey, look what I did. And if it's not been tested, then it's a theoretical novelty, and you get credit for coming up with a good move. Here, let me show you the surprise. Here it comes. Black endeavors to give up a piece for two pawns. Now white can't take with his knight because there's this nasty checkmate down here, and so white just develops. But how does white continue his development? Black actually has a lot of play here in this position. White can't castle kingside, and he's several moves from being able to castle queenside, and there's going to be pressure. So it's a pretty interesting sacrifice. But white immediately goes wrong here. This is the kind of position where you have to hunker down and try to find a defense. And I guess this is one reason why I don't like this line for white. If black has a sacrifice like this at disposal, white's really got his work cut out for him. I don't know what to suggest. Theoretically, you could say that black is going to lose because of the deficit of material, but he's got a lot of activity here. He does have compensation for the piece sacrificed. White's back rank is just not good. Probably the only plan I could think for black is to try to either castle queenside, or here's a move that's coming up to mind, queen d4, trying to take some of the pressure. No, you can't play queen d4. That's a howler. Knight takes knight check, and you lose your queen. Okay, so we always analyze bad moves when we analyze. So where can we put this bishop where it's safe? It's hard to say. Bishop d2. Well, here comes another piece developed. I mean, I'm just testing ideas. Now white's plan is to castle queenside, but he may not be able to. He may run into danger. This is Black's got a lot of play here. We got to give Black credit. This is possibly this move was the most interesting of all the videos I've made. This is like 59th or 60th, somewhere in there. This is the most interesting move I've seen. But White immediately crumbles to the pressure and decides to sacrifice back, which is in a way is not a bad idea. But unfortunately, he's opening up the position, and that's going to favor Black. So White stops and grabs Knight with check first, and now White's saying, "Okay, great. You had your fun. I've got my piece back. I'm giving back my piece. I've got my position back." But does he? Look at the White King. It's in the center. That King's in trouble, and here Black misses a reasonable move. He can set a trick with Rook F7, although he is stepping into a pin. The idea is this is stopped because you have Bishop takes check or Bishop H4 check, take your pick and win the queen. But what he plays is perfectly fine. The queen's under attack, and Black's just got a tremendous position. He can practically pick his way to win here. Bishop H4 check looks strong. If G3, you give up this bishop, and now this king is really, really caught. If the king moves and the rooks aren't connected, Black finds a good move, and this rook is in trouble. What's Black going to do? For instance, if bishop here, first thing that comes to mind is to check. Let's see. Let's look at it. Okay, you can take and check on E3. That might be good. Let's see. Or you can just go tempo the queen, bring another piece into play. I mean, this is really becoming a Black position in a hurry. So, this is why White's attempt to sacrifice the piece didn't help, because the board is open for the Black pieces to seize the open lines. This king was stuck. White got this really strong center, and let's just look back at move 8. Look at that center. Hard to believe it'll entirely be gone from move 8 to here to move 19. I mean, it was even sitting there. It was sitting there when Black started to sacrifice. Okay, it's still there, and it's just gone. It's just gone quickly. Boom, boom. Goodbye, center. And now Black center disappears because White's returning the piece, and Bishop B2 doesn't work. White played Rook A2, and that's just going to win Black material. So he took this, and White resigned in this position. I mean, I don't blame him. What's there to play for? This king is just caught. Rook check. Well, let's check with, I don't know. Which rook do we want to check with? Gosh, does it matter? Wait, no, we're in check. Okay. But hey, that's all right. We have to get a check first. Black's up material, the exchange. White's king is caught. This is going to be a loss for White real soon. Anyway, so much for that game. Let's load up the other one, see what happened there. And that never puts it on the right move at the beginning. Okay, now our man is White. Let's flip the board. Okay, so we get an Imzo-Indian defense, and here comes Black's next howler. Yet White can't exploit it just yet. I've talked about these in so many videos. What does this move do? I mean, it's just a terrible move. It weakens G6. It doesn't develop a piece. White wasn't going to put anything on G5. You guys need to learn to stop moving your rook pawns. Gotta get the message out on that. Now he picks up the bishop pair without getting double pawns. But the game's relatively even. With most of the White pieces behind his pawns, the only Most of the pieces are behind the pawns. The only difference is these two knights are in front of the pawns. The game isn't open, so white can't really exploit this. But one thing you can see is that white does have a development advantage as a result. Not much of one. It's black's move. If black brings the queen up to e7, then we have development balance, but black could have had maybe a slight lead in development. And it's interesting, when you go to win the bishop pair, it usually comes in the opening. It usually comes at the loss of some kind of tempo. In this case, white played a3. So that's one of the reasons why black could have been ahead in development had he not played h6. His queen would already be on e7 and bring one of these rooks into play, right? But anyway, it's still relatively even. White can't punish the h6 move yet. So black goes to stake his share of the action, and now comes some exchanges, and what we're seeing now again is the center disappearing. Now with this center disappearing, this is actually going to favor white because the bishops then come into play. So black is probably not playing it careful. It would have been better for black not to force any exchanges and let white exchange. Just sit on the position. A7 is under pressure, and but black has some counterplay here. I'll come back and look at that in a minute. And if the possibilities that black could have tried, and now black falls into a fault. He comes into a faulty continuation, and he steps into a pin. And something's going to have to give. And black has lost a piece, no matter how you slice it. Queen a6 had some tricks to it. The point is it pins this bishop, and black can try to take pot shots at it with knight c3, but white's going to come out okay. But queen takes d7 would have been better, but it doesn't matter. White's just up a piece, and the game is his. And they play a few more moves, and black is going to resign. And there we go, knight c5, and black decides to throw in the towel. He's down a piece, and it's hopeless. So let's come back to the point when we started seeing exchanges. I was saying black should sit on the game. Let's hold off on playing d5. Black owns the c5 square. Let's develop the queen. Let's make white prove something here. Okay, this enables this rook to get into play. Okay, what if white plays on c5? Well, black's fine. Watch. If he takes, bingo, beautiful square for the knight, and the black's queen side is secure. White doesn't gain anything with this. If white pushes by with b5, potentially white later have a break here, but the black position is quite solid. Black could possibly consider a move like e4, or e5 rather. That threatens e4, right? Black owns that square. He's got a knight and a bishop and a queen on it. But black should have sat on the game, not tried to open it up, because when it opened up, these bishops started coming to life. So, it's nice to want to play for a win with black, but with black you have to stay equal first, okay? And that's what the Nimzo Indian does. It equalizes. It's difficult to play this position for a win, but you have to let white try to force the issue. So playing d5 is just premature. It's not necessarily a bad move, but black has better. Move pieces, don't move pawns. And this would have turned out better for black, I'm sure. Anyway, well played by aakjohns in both games. I'm impressed. And I thank you all for your time. And I'll be back with another video as soon as I can. Take care.